I'm tired. Are you tired? Hey, it's Allie. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. And I'm ending this year with a rant. So originally I was gonna make this video about OKKO and about how it was done dirty and how it was gone before its time and how it really shouldn't have failed given how marketable it was. But I think I'm gonna save that for a later time and really do a deep dive on that, because I remembered Craig of the Creek is being canceled. Well, technically they are getting to finish their show, but they are still being cut short, which I still consider to be canceled. And then I remembered everything that happened with HBO Max and Cartoon Network this year. Yes, that was this year, even though they want you to forget. And of course, there was a recent interview that came out with the president of Cartoon Network talking about the future of Cartoon Network. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that today and kind of rant about where I think Cartoon Network is like going and canceling TV shows just in general. So let's get into it. If at any time you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, because I make videos like this all the time. You can follow me on any of my social media. They're always going to be linked down in the description below, though it's Allie_or__dreamer on everything. You can reach me on Tumblr is probably the best way to reach me, and I also make TikToks and short form content. So let's jump into it. So when I was talking about OKKO, the most reason I wanted to talk about it is because it was recently taken off of HBO Max, the streaming service, this year. Yes, that was this year, in case you forgot. It was just nicely swept under the rug and we all stopped collectively talking about it for a while. If you don't know, for some reason, HBO Max merged with Discovery and is now going to be HBO Max Discovery. I don't know, it's some stupid name. It's gonna be merged together, and with that came the purge of a lot of animation. Mostly because HBO Max's like animation department or whatever is like, I guess, just being dissolved, and Cartoon Network is going to completely take over that side of like just animation, which doesn't make sense because you think that you would merge them too, but like whatever. But not just animation, but a lot of shows ended up being axed from the platform and just thrown into the abyss. You can't find them anywhere, not physical form, nothing. You remember when we all thought streaming services were going to be such a great idea, because we're all like, oh, finally a place where you can go watch all your favorite old TV shows and movies and stuff, and you don't have to worry about going to try and find it physically. And so they stopped making physical versions of shows and movies. Yeah, shows that were hanging in limbo, like Infinity Train, or just poof, gone. And while I have my feelings about that, go watch my Infinity Train video. That was a great video. Y'all should go watch that video. Time has just passed on until recently the president of Cartoon Network, Michael O'Lean, did an interview with Variety to talk about the future of Cartoon Network. I'll link the article below, but the TLDR is that after all the outrage of a bunch of shows getting canceled, like Tuca and Birdie, which was an Adult Swim show, and Craig of the Creek, people were rightly so thinking that Cartoon Network was, well, dead. And it even went a step further when they announced, like, a couple of months ago, clarify about the entire Cartoon Network is dead thing. It was a sensationalized piece written by some Twitter entertainment account. I don't know. But basically, people thought that Cartoon Network was going to die because they were consolidating a bunch of things, but that's not what happened. However, they did lay off a bunch of people. That still happened, and a bunch of shows still got canceled and taking off the streaming service, which is what this rant is about. So if you think I'm talking about the whole Cartoon Network is dead thing, I'm not. I'm talking about mostly what happened during the summer and most very recently. That sensationalized piece was just sensationalized, and it just came after a whole bunch of people talking about the consolidation of a lot of things in the animation department for Cartoon Network. Again, I'll link all the sources below, but I am not talking about that. This is not what I'm ranting about, just so you know. I'll put it up on the screen, like what exactly it was, but it pretty much made everyone think that Cartoon Network was dead. And of course, in a brilliant PR move, Cartoon Network was like, made it into a meme and was just like, oh, when everybody says you're dead, but you're not dead. And it's like, girly, as far as we know, the way y'all were promoting this, it seemed like Cartoon Network was just going to be gone. In this interview, he basically says that no, we're not dead, we're just changing our past. The main takeaway is that he wanted to shift from cartoons that were just aimed and made for kids to something more universal and for, well, everybody. Which, like, okay, I feel like most good cartoons have been doing that already. Please go look at the Owl House. Please go look at Bluey, for example, shows that are literally made for kids but are enjoyed a lot by an older demographic. Where do you think you're getting these demographics from? Where do you think you're getting this demographic that, oh, actually older people also really like cartoons? Young adults and middle-aged adults, they also really like watching cartoons. Where do you think you're getting that demographic from? You're getting that from people who watch shows for kids. And what do you think those shows are doing? Like, it just really was like weird to me that his solution was to just be like, bye-bye to all of these shows that were already doing so well and already had this like fan base of both younger people and older people, to make way for something that was more universal. I personally feel like there was just a way to, I guess, have your cake and eat it too. You didn't have to cut all of these shows just so you can be like, well, we have to make room for these other shows. I don't hate to be that person who's like, back in my day, but back in my day, Cartoon Network had like a gajillion cartoons going on at the time. And if I didn't like my gym partner's a monkey, which I didn't, I just had to wait 30 minutes and boom, Total Drama Island would be on. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to say that, oh, we need to push out, for the sake of money and the sake of resources, we have to push out all of these other shows to make way for new ones. It's just giving greed. Like, you can have both if you just set aside money for both. We've seen it happen before, and honestly, at least to public's knowledge, to great success. And yet we're sitting here like, actually, we can only have like 2 good cartoons going on at one time. Like, it makes no sense to me. But I am assuming that he's talking about shows that don't necessarily have a serialized plot and that are literally kind of just made for kids to watch and the content of it all and just move on. Kind of like Teen Titans Go. There's no overarching serialized plot. It's just there to be there, and that's kind of it. I love Teen Titans Go for like what it is now. I've grown so much. I love Teen Titans Go now for what it is. But it is not a serialized show that is just, it's not an overarching plot show, I mean to say. So I guess he's talking about those types of shows, which is funny because those are the shows that Cartoon Network was clinging on to. Like, if you think about it, all of the actual like plot-driven shows, Infinity Train, or even I think like Summer Camp Island, like these shows that were going somewhere, OKKO even, were just poof gone. Those are the shows you cut. And the shows that you kept were Teen Titans Go, a show that isn't like having an overarching plot that is going somewhere eventually. So that's what you decided to keep in the first place, and now you're cutting even more shows to try and make up for it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So in theory, this seems like a good change to make. My issue, however, comes from the way everything was handled. Everything, in my opinion, was handled very disrespectfully to the people who have been running your shows for literal years. I really urge you all to read this article. I have it posted in the description as well. I know. We're using our big brains today. We got to read an article. I know. But it really gives a perspective from the animation side and the people who did get their jobs cut, because obviously not everyone got their jobs cut, but for people who did, it really showed kind of the shift that they see and this change of like going from long-term animation goals to suddenly, oh, we're only picking up shows for a season and then seeing how it is, when in reality animation is a long-term thing. And I feel like the solution to this is just to hire more people who know what they're doing in terms of like animation projects and stuff, to be in the producers' rooms to say like, hey, this is gonna take a while, see the potential in this show, and I think we should stick with it and go with it. And I think that's probably what the issue is right now, is that not a lot of people are, or at least in the producers' room and stuff, aren't seeing the potential in a lot of these shows to go on for longer periods of time. And then also the ones that have been going on for long periods of time, they're not sticking with for some reason. I don't know. Why are people in 2022 just in any year, why are people finding out that they don't have jobs or that their passion projects are suddenly poof fucking gone through Twitter? I don't understand. Like, I understand if they're not on your payroll anymore, there's nothing you can really do about that. But these are people who are actively working on your shows, which means they're actively on your payroll. So it doesn't make sense why you couldn't call them into a meeting and be like, hey guys, or even an email. I mean, that would still be disrespectful. But you could even just be like, hey guys, by the way, your shows, they're getting canceled. I just wanted to say it in person, so you didn't have to find out on Twitter. Like, imagine finding out that your show has not only been Thanos snapped from existence, but also that you don't have a job in the same place that Elon Musk is having an absolute meltdown and Sans has won Tumblr Sexy Man of the Year. Oh man, the queen is dead. And I'm out of a job? Well, at least Reagan is gonna win Tumblr Sexy Man. Oh, come on. The excuse was to allocate resources, aka money, to these other new projects. But I'm sure there was a better way to end these shows. At least Craig of the Creek gets to have an ending, but it's still cut short from its intended ending. So that's the question. Is it worth it to purge all of these shows and lay people off for the sake of your new venture? Like I said before, it's weird, especially coming from a person who grew up watching Cartoon Network where there were so many cartoons, quality cartoons going on at one time. Like, it's not like they were just like shovelware, like just random cartoons. Like, these were all really, like, each person who was working on each cartoon, the groups of people who were doing it, you could tell cared. You can tell they put effort and care. Like, there was never, obviously, like, I can't speak to the, like, maybe the quality of the animation, but I've rewatched shows like Total Drama Island and just the Total Drama series in general, and Adventure Time, Steven Universe, all of these shows that were out at the same time, even shows that were, like, lesser known, like Stoked and The Secret Saturdays, and, whoa, that came out of my brain. Secret Saturdays, that came out of my brain. Ben 10, like, all of these shows that were on at the exact same time were all quality. And that's why you have so many people remembering, like, shows of their childhood, like, differently. Like, some people grew up, even with, like, other channels, like Nickelodeon. Some people grew up watching that fugly-ass show, Fanboy and Chum Chum, that fugly ass show. Some people grew up watching fucking Tough Puppy, Jimmy Neutron, and other people grew up watching SpongeBob and SpongeBob Only. I know friends who weren't allowed to watch Ed, Edd and Eddy, but still grew up on Cartoon Network and were able to watch things. Like, the fact that, like, me and my best friend both grew up watching Cartoon Network, and our tastes and aesthetics are so different. I grew up watching Ed, Edd and Eddy and Courage the Cowardly Dog, and these things obviously have fundamentally shaped me, especially Courage the Cowardly Dog, as it relates to horror and being into horror. Whereas my best friend, who also watched the same network, didn't really watch Courage the Cowardly Dog. He watched stuff like The Secret Saturdays, and that has shaped him into the shonen loving, like, character that he is. Like, that is what I feel like was Cartoon Network's strong suit. You had so many, it was a network. What? It's in the name. Cartoon Network. You had so many shows going on at once, which is why the bumpers, oh my god, if you've seen Cartoon Network bumpers, even the more recent ones, they're so connected. All of these shows are connected. That's the point. You ever seen, like, the most recent Cartoon Network bumpers? There's like 5 shows. And even if there even is 5 shows, I'm talking about shows that are still actually ongoing, are probably only 3. And that's where it gets me. It's like, you're canceling all of these shows, but still using their legacy to properties. They still, to this day, you go on Cartoon Network's Instagram, you'll see Steven Universe all over there. Now, Steven Universe did not get canceled, but I'm just saying, like, you know the power that these shows have. You know the fandoms that they have created and the staying power that they have. Why are we treating them like shit? Why are we treating the people who create them like shit? And this isn't just a Cartoon Network problem. You see it with Netflix. I have ranted so much about Netflix this year. Netflix has came out with some of the best animation projects this year, some of which I haven't even talked about, like Wendell and Wild, and a couple of other, like Oni, I think is one of them. Great animation projects. But I can't get too happy about them and see where they go, because Netflix and all of these big businesses at any time can just pull the plug. We are getting some of the best episodes of The Owl House, and I can only, like, mourn for what should have been with a full season, because we're not getting a full season. It's really frustrating to watch people disrespect people, companies disrespect the people who work so hard to make these shows, and then turn around and promote these shows. That's why when Cartoon Network was doing the whole meme thing, is like, when people say you're dead when you show up to your own funeral, it just felt even more disrespectful. Now, I know whoever the social media intern who was doing that was just their job. They were like, quick, we need something quick, because people were really upset with Cartoon Network at that time. But I know they were just doing their job, but it really felt like an even bigger slap in the face. Now, like, let me know down in the comments if you felt the same way. If you follow Cartoon Network on Instagram, I do. I love Cartoon Network. I love Cartoon Network a lot. This has been going on for way too long, so I'm going to say that. I love Cartoon Network a lot. And I really do hope that in this new direction that we're taking Cartoon Network in, that they're taking Cartoon Network in, I really, really hope that we go back to, I don't want to be like, oh, the way Cartoon Network used to be, but we go back to what it's supposed to be, which is a celebration of animation and a celebration of many different types of animation and many different types of stories being told. That's what made Cartoon Network so cool. And I could go on and on about that. And maybe if Cartoon Network gets back in my good graces one day. But, like, you know, I just right now just really needed to rant. I really, really needed to rant. I don't see a reason why the old and new can't coexist, you know, aside from money. I know that each show has its expiration date. Well, most shows have an expiration date. SpongeBob. I just hope that these shows are able to get their proper endings. I talked in my last video about Sonic and how I think it's beneficial to kids to have shows that have stories with proper endings. Look at how devoted people are to these shows. Steven Universe, you know, I talked about it. Steven Universe still has dedicated fans to this day. Gravity Falls, dedicated fans to this day. These are staples within, like, adult fandom culture that will be forever. It's like you're gonna ask somebody, oh, I want to watch a cartoon. I love SpongeBob, but if someone asks me, I want to get into cartoons, I'm not sending you to go watch SpongeBob. I'm not. I love SpongeBob with all my heart and soul, but I'm not sending you to go watch SpongeBob as your first entry level cartoon, because it just goes on, and it's still going. But I would send you to a show that is more serialized, something that is more of a complete story for someone to watch, like Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, Adventure Time, even if you really want to get into the deep end. Adventure Time, we're doing next year. My goal for next year is to actually sit down and do an Adventure Time video. The point is, I'm still wanting to talk about Adventure Time all these years later. I grew up with that show, and the show ended, has cemented itself in my brain, had the show kept going and going and going. So I do think it's important to have those. And I also do think it's important to reach out to audiences that aren't just children. But I feel like these cartoons have been doing it for years. Nothing's different other than that Y7 rating. But hey, if that Y7 rating that you really, really think is going to pull in people, I also think that, like, we are stuck right now in a limbo between either it's Y7 or it's R18, and there's no in between, and I think that needs to be talked about. So overall, I do think this change could be good if we stick to those principles and we stick to actually supporting these shows and supporting these creators. So that being said, please go support these creators, whether it's online, in person, if you go see them at a convention or something. It's my goal in 2023 to go to more conventions and actually see these people. I want to tell these people that they have changed lives and they deserve to be compensated such, and they deserve to stay in their industry where they want to create. I digress. Also, I've made 3 videos about Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You cannot tell me that adults are not watching these shows. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. You know what? No, I don't want to end this on such a sour note. I don't. So that I'm saying, I'm really hopeful for the future, despite everything like this being a rant. I'm really hopeful for the future. And I wanted to end this off talking about animations that I really, really loved this year. And a top 10 list style. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 10, we have Turning Red. Did you remember Turning Red came out this year? Because I forgot that Turning Red came out this year. But it's been a long year. Oh, it's been a long year. But Turning Red was so beautiful, both inside and out, from its story to its animation, the music, everything about it. And I want to see more stories like that. Obviously, talking about, we got 2 movies in the span of like 6 months, because I think Encanto came out like November of last year, and then Turning Red came out in like, what was that, like March of this year. So like it was very much so like within 6 months we were really like seeing not the same type of movie, but different, from different perspectives, which I think is like the generational trauma. Oh yes. Anyway, so Turning Red is at number 10. I still listen to like the fucking Four Town songs. I do. They're so good. Okay, coming in at number 9 is the Owl House season 3 premiere. Oh my god, the Owl House season 3. I always wonder, how do we get here? I say it every time I talk about the Owl House. Well, how do we get from season 1 to season 3? Where we are now. If you haven't picked up the Owl House yet, do it, bro. It is so good. We are, the animation, the story, Luz being fucking jaded as hell. Oh, mama, I'm sorry. I'm just so excited for the next couple of episodes. They have been putting the owl tussies in this, okay? So you better hype it up when the next episode comes out. Absolutely. And number 8, we have Dead End Paranormal Park. Actually, scratch everything. I need you to go watch this show right now. It is so criminally underrated. It makes me frustrated. How criminally underrated this show is. Like, genuinely. Please drop everything that you're doing and go watch this. We got a musical episode. I don't see enough people talking about this, regardless if you're in the queer community or not. I don't see enough queer people talking about the show. Please go watch the show. It's on Netflix. It is so good. It is so, especially if you're into like horror and paranormal and stuff like that, and like all that type of shit, please go watch the show. It is so good. Coming in at number 7 is Being Puppy Cat. Being Puppy Cat is the video launched me over 1,000 subscribers, and I'm so grateful for that. Y'all ate that shit up, and I'm really happy y'all did, because I worked hard on that video, let me tell you. So I'm so happy. The show was like a warm hug. It was very nostalgic, it boosted my creativity, and obviously that creativity paid off. Being Puppy Cat holds a very special place in my heart, and yeah, so it comes in at number 7. Number 6 is Sonic Prime. Oh, Sonic Prime. I had, if you watched my video on Sonic Prime, you would know that I had no expectations for the show. Absolutely zero. And the fact that the show was as good as it was, really, I was taken aback in a really good way. And I hope that we are headed in a direction where, Sonic is more. You know what I mean? I feel like we have entered an age where we can kind of restart Sonic again, like the way like TMNT gets restarted every couple of years. I feel like we're at that stage with Sonic, and I feel like we could go so many places with it, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. All right, at number 5, Wendell and Wild. I actually just watched this the other day while I was doing my hair. I feel so bad it took me so long to watch this. I should have made a video about it back in like October. Let me know if you guys want to hear a video about Wendell and Wild. I will be showing my kids that movie. It is such a great movie. Oh my god. To just simultaneously... Sorry, I watched her almost step on my computer, which is recording my audio right now. Now you get to be with me. She said absolutely not. But Wendell and Wild is it's a new kid classic, if that makes sense. It's a new she about to do it again? No. It's a new horror kid classic. Like, if you really liked, The Nightmare Before Christmas and all those other Tim Burton shit, Wendell and Wild, please go watch it. It's stop motion. It is so beautiful, and the story is beautiful. It is so great. And Black horror kids, where you at? Anyway, number 4, we have the Amphibia finale. Now, while I didn't watch the entire show until this year, the Amphibia finale came out at the beginning of the year, so I can talk about it. This show, again, special place in my heart now. The summer was very, very rough for me mentally, so to have something that was as consistently good and consistently like a warm hug that was Amphibia, I got nothing to say. It was just a warm hug. It always feels like a hug. I already feel nostalgia for it, even though I only watched the entire thing this year. I didn't watch it over the course of the years that it came out, and I still feel nostalgia every time I see art from it, every time someone is talking about it. I feel that nostalgia. The show was able to produce that no matter if you binge watch it or watched it over the course of it coming out, which I think is insane. All right, top 3 time. We have number 3, The Cuphead Show. Oh, the Cuphead Show. Let me tell you about the Cuphead Show. I have never had something that is so succinct in style, reach something deep down inside of me and go, this is just so aesthetically pleasing. Everything about it is aesthetically pleasing, from to match the style of the show to the game so accurately, to the point of the characters, people who we don't even get to hear from really during the game, to have their characters so well. It is such imaginationful, and it's just really, the reason why it's at number 3 is because it is such an inspirational piece of work. Like, it just is. The music, the animation, the story, everything, the voice acting, all of it is just so inspirational to, like, see a different type of cartoon, even though it's harking back to, you know, older cartoons. To see that type of cartoon so masterfully done, it really, like, I don't know, it just inspired me. And also, Cuphead is one of my favorite games. So to have this whole series just be concise and put together, it was really nice. All right, number 2. We got Lego Monkey Kid. After you watch Paranormal Park, Dead End Paranormal Park, I need you to go watch Lego Monkey Kid right now. I need you to go watch Lego Monkey Kid. Like, your life depends on it. I stand by my title of my video that I did on it. It is the coolest show that you've never watched. It is so cool. The animation, the world building, the story, all of it is so cool. The characters are so well written, and the story itself is also so well written. Do yourself a favor and go watch this show and come talk to me about it, because I have no one to talk about this. Lego Monkey Kid. Legos have not led me astray yet. When has Legos ever led you astray? Never. I don't think ever. So do yourself a favor and go watch this show. And coming in at number 1, I'll give you a second to guess. Guess. I've made 3 videos about it. That's right. It's the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Movie of the year. Movie of the year. I don't care about your fucking Oscars. Movie of the fucking year goes to Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja fucking Turtles. I've made 3 videos about it. Need I say more? Need I say more? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, especially Rise, has been a staple in my life. And to see more people talk about it now, and to see the fandom reinvigorated, and people making video essays about it, and artists, like, it... Seeing, like, specific artists, her name is Time Woods on Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Best TMNT artist, go fight with a wall. And also, Cupcake Slushy, I think is the name of this person on Tumblr, and their AUs are so good. Has reinvigorated my love for art and has gotten me into digital painting. I'm literally going to look up digital painting tutorials in the next week and, like, start painting. Because I love painting. I've always been really scared, but TMNT has been such a, like, breath of fresh air in that department and has inspired me so much. This movie, this show, this franchise means so much to me. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Thank you so much for watching. This is a 30-minute video. Oh my God. Thank you so much for watching. You can catch me. Thank you so much for giving me such an amazing year and getting me to 1,000 subscribers. You mean the world to me. Thank you so much. I love talking to y'all. Let's start a conversation. Come talk to me anywhere. And as always, have a happy new year. And I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.